Let's have a look here.
Hi, Brenda. Brenda Newman is here from District 5550. She's also on the World Peace Partners Committee. Welcome. If I haven't said hi to you, it's probably because I haven't seen all your faces. The gallery will only let me see a certain number of people.
That's okay. Thank you.
Is that better?
There we go. That's better. Thank you.
Okay.
So I would like to say welcome to each of you. I already have to most of you. So this is an overview of the Rotary Learning Center. This is a new initiative, of course. Well, not a new initiative. I shouldn't say that. There are many new initiatives in the Learning Center. It's been a really busy time for us in the Learning Center. There are new courses being done. We have a new partnership with Toastmasters, which I will speak about. And we have a new mobile app that I will talk about as well. There are something in the Learning Center for everybody, Rotarians, Rotaract members, and even people that aren't Rotarians. There's professional development, and there's lots of really great resources for prospective members who want to know a little bit more about Rotary. So some of the things you can see on the screen we'll touch on tonight are leadership development, service, the foundation, service learning, diversity, inclusion, and equity, public image, fundraising, and more. So I'm here tonight to provide examples, not too much detail. If you have questions, please put them in the chat box and we will try to deal with them at the end. Next slide, Jim, please. So here is the actual direct link to the Learning Center. If you type in rotary.org/learn, you'll be able to sign in with your My Rotary password and My Rotary account. Next page, Jim. As some of you know that have been in the Learning Center, there have been some challenges with technology. We all have challenges. As we're building the Learning Center, increasing our capacity, sometimes there's been challenges. So if you are going to try to log in and having challenges, it does work best on Google Chrome or on Microsoft. If you have, and make sure you have the most recent browser. If you're still having trouble, go back in and clear your cache, clear your cookies. Is there some?
Can everybody make sure their microphones are off so we don't get feedback?
Yeah, there's some feedback. Okay, so go in, clear your cache, and hang on. Maybe should I take my headphones off, Jim? Oh no, there. I think it's okay. So
No.
those are just some tips if you're trying to sign in, because we have had some challenges with that. Other than that, if you have an issue, try to reach out to the tech team, and there'll be an email or a click to say help, and they can help you with that. Next slide, please. So as you know, there you can see this is what would come up if you bring up My Rotary. You can sign in or register on your account in the top right-hand corner. If you have a Rotary account, then you would simply sign in that way. If you don't have an account, it's easy to create one. If you are a Rotarian and creating a My Rotary account, please use the same email that you've provided your district for Club Runner. Because non-Rotarians can sign in, if you don't use the same email that was provided through Club Runner and through our district or your own district, what will happen is it will register you as a non-Rotarian, and it won't send the data back to the district or give your club the recognition of you as a Rotarian. It's just helping us keep track of statistics and things like that for My Rotary. Next slide. Once you're in, you can click on Learning and Reference at that top bar. And then on the left-hand side, these subtopics will come up and you click on the Learning Center. Next slide. If you have not been in the Learning Center prior to this, it will ask you to accept a private policy. So click on that, and then you can proceed to what they call the course catalog page, which you will see on the left. The home page that you see comes up with topics, and there you can choose them by topics. You can choose courses in English. There are different languages. And then in the very top left-hand corner, there's a course catalog where you can search by topic or word. It's really great. We are working very hard to get these courses done in additional languages. Not only is our Rotary as an organization very diverse and have many different languages, of course, here in Canada, we are a very diverse country. This is a way to make these courses more accessible to everybody. Next slide. So here's the Learning Center homepage that we were talking about. So at the top of the screen, you'll see search content in the platform. So you can type in words and it will give you certainly different topics you can choose from, or you can click on the course catalog and it will give you a list of courses. Now, we do have topics. So we have about Rotary, club leadership, all those things. So the about Rotary is really good for new and prospective members, or those of us looking for maybe a refresher on all that's new in Rotary. Club leadership, we'll talk about a little bit later, along with district leadership. General has some general things, areas of focus, different things about Rotary, which is another good area for new and prospective members, or people just looking for information about Rotary. Public image, of course, gives us all kinds of ideas, courses, and a learning plan on image, how to do brochures, logos, and a bunch of other things. We have service, and we will talk more about that as we reimagine service in Rotary. Professional development includes leadership. The Rotary Foundation is a very good course selection on the foundation, global grants, the global grant certification, and how to be a foundation chair and many other things. And the bottom one is trainer, and that is how to be a trainer. So if you're interested in being part of the learning and development team, or taking on trainer, or simply wanting to use that as professional development, there are some excellent courses in there. Next slide. So now let's get into what we talk about as leadership. Next slide. The Learning Center has district officer materials. This includes things for the district governor, the basic, intermediate, and advanced, assistant governor, committees, the district membership, foundation, public image, and district training. So there are over 80 courses in English. These courses are grouped into learning plans to help learners determine the courses that are based on a role or a Rotary topic. So there are learning plans that have been developed to help governors, assistant governors, and a general learning plan for district committee roles. In the past, we had printed manuals that were sent out for secretary, treasurer, and other roles. That is no longer being done. There are many different reasons for that. Of course, the biggest one is the ability to update quickly and effectively, and so that they're accurate. And then there's a sustainability and a cost piece. Printing all these manuals in different languages and the postage to send it out was very costly. So now we're not doing that. So if you were, in a role last year, and you want to take on a different role, there are learning plans to do that. So as you see on each of these slides, it says learning plan, and then it gives you how long all of the courses combined will take. So on the District Governor Advanced is 2 hours and 15 minutes. That doesn't mean you have to sit down for 2 hours and 15 minutes. It means that total time is going to take. You can start a course, leave it, go back, do it, finish it at your convenience. So if you've enrolled in it, it means it says enrolled, and if you haven't, it says enroll. It gives you the opportunity to rate it. So you'll see the stars on the rating you give it. There's feedback at the end of every course. So we ask that you do fill that out honestly, because it's important to us as a committee to understand what you need, what would work better, if there are things missing, what we could do better, differently, or if you really liked it and why you liked it. Most of these courses have resources you can download as well. These are available for people even if you're not in the district governor stream. If you're interested in being district governor, it can give you an insight into what it means to be a district governor. So I highly encourage you to take a look at it. You don't have to take all the courses. You can take some, one, all, or none. Next slide, please. For club officers, there are, of course, a series of learning plans for each of the club officers. We do recommend that you take these before you take on your role and start in your role. I think that we're doing that already, Donna, with our spring learning and asking people to do that. But these provide a lot of training materials, resources, ideas, and innovation for people taking on these roles. It also is available, again, to people who are considering taking on these roles or want to know more about what these roles mean. And again, there are resource materials in each of these courses that are easily downloadable in a PDF format for you to have. You can also go back at any time in these courses in the Learning Center and take them again and review documents. So once you've completed it and downloaded your certificate, that doesn't mean that you can't do that. It's stored in your learning plan, which we'll talk about a little bit down the road, and you can review it. And it's often good to go back and refresh it. If you need the materials, it's an easy way to find it if you can't find the materials again, but they're never not available for you. Next slide. Part of the Learning Center and the role of being in Rotary is professional development. And leadership development is a very big part of that. In the Learning Center, we have 4 what we would call leadership courses, and many of them would be considered leadership courses, but for the sake of professional development, we'll talk about these 4. They can help you work on specific skills and being a Rotary leader. There's the Leadership Basics, leading a team, building consensus, and collaboration. And these are all really strong leadership tools. And if you are interested in building your leadership skills, no matter what role you are in or would like to be in, I highly recommend you take these courses and, use them in completing projects and seeking feedback from other members. And if you are interested in improving your speaking skills, there are also 4 Toastmaster courses focused on communication. Next slide. One of the most exciting things for us as Rotarians is the new alliance that we have with Toastmasters International. The organizations are now working together to enhance the member experience by providing each of our members with more opportunities for personal and professional growth. Being able to express yourself confidently in front of an audience is a learned skill and has immense benefits, personally, professionally, in the office, at your club level, or even at home when you're having that discussion with your partner or one of your kids, or maybe even the dog. Sharing our stories, we can inspire others and we can build community. By expanding our personal and professional skills, we are creating lasting change within ourselves. And by doing so, we're better able to serve our clubs, our communities, and in all that we do. The Alliance offers benefits to members of both organizations. Members of Toastmasters will be able to connect with more people, take advantage of new speaking and learning opportunities, and use their skills to make a difference in their communities with Rotary. For example, we recently heard about a Toastmasters member who developed a relationship with his local Rotary club, which led him to do a public speaking workshop for Rotarians. He was so excited to use his expertise to help others while practicing his communication skills with a new and bigger audience. Members of Rotary have a new leadership development curriculum to help to improve their leadership and communication skills, opportunities to enhance their fellowship connections, build stronger clubs, and increase their collective impact by collaborating with Toastmaster clubs. Both of our organizations are going to benefit from increased service, speaking, learning, and membership opportunities, as well as networking. Next slide. So Rotarians and Rotaractors can get involved by taking the online leadership and communication courses to hone and practice their skills. These courses were developed by Toastmasters for Rotary as part of the Alliance. All Rotarians and Rotaractors can access them on the Learning Center through their My Rotary accounts. The courses are listed here. So courses on these topics are being released on a rolling basis throughout last year and this year, and in all Rotary languages. And off the top of my head, I can't remember what those languages are, but they're many. These topics address competencies that current and prospective Rotarians and Rotaractors have indicated they would like to develop when we did a survey. Next slide. So these Toastmaster courses are a little different than some of the other ones in the Rotary Learning Center, but they're really great. I have taken all of them, and I highly recommend that you look at them and take them. One of the reasons Toastmasters is so effective is their blended learning approach. So in the course, there's independent work, which you do online in an e-learning format. There's some assignments that you take and work you take back to your club. It's project work, it's doing a speech in front of a club and various things. So it's actually doing work. And then you would have a peer evaluation by your peers. And all those documents are included in the courses, the peer evaluation, the assignments, the materials you need to do the assignments and to work together. So it's really effective to have your peers do it in the Rotary Club, but I'm sure we could find a Toastmaster who would offer their Toastmaster evaluation as well. So please reach out to either myself or Dan Hardy, and his information is at the end, and to work with that. This approach is used in these courses, and it's available to anybody that would like to have that. So it's a really unique learning opportunity that can be done on your own time, and you can pick which topic you would like to do the most. So next slide. So there's many features and benefits in the Learning Center. So let's now go over some best practices and highlight some of the opportunities in the Learning Center. It's really important for us to have data in the Learning Center. And so these positions get reports on the number of Rotarians. And presently in our district, and these are the stats that were given to me and Donna by the Learning Center in about mid-February, so they've probably changed. We presently have 328 Rotarians in our district that have a My Rotary account. That may have changed since then. That have completed 643 courses since August of 2018. Now, again, as we're approaching our April learning, there might be more that have come and done that. So our district, and I'm not really sure what this means, and I'll have to ask Kimberly, we are #1 in our zone with the number of unique Rotarians that are involved in taking courses in the Rotary Learning Center. So I think that means that maybe it's not people necessarily in leadership roles, but perhaps just Rotarians, but I'm not sure. I will clarify that. And we're #4 in our zone in using the Learning Center. So those are good statistics. Next slide. So how to get the report access? When you are one of those roles, you have to complete the Access Learning Center Reports course. And then the staff schedules two automatic email deliveries on Mondays. So if you are one of those leadership roles, can we go back to that slide, Jim? Any of these roles, you fill that part out and you will get an email on who's used the Learning Center and which courses have been completed. So Tyla, you could probably do that as district membership chair. And Jody would have access, and Donna would have access, and Jim and John Nickel and Tim Shields. Can you go to the next slide, please? Okay, and so we'll move on to the next slide. The next slide, Jim. Oh, so sorry, back up. It looks the same. Another unique thing, and this has just been launched on March 1st, so it's a soft launch, and I'm sure there's going to be some frustration, so we ask for your patience. We have launched a mobile app to access the Learning Center, so you can do these courses not necessarily just on your desktop, but on your phone and your tablets. So you would go into the Learning Center, and you can access My Rotary on your mobile phone. So you sign into My Rotary, tap Learning and Reference, tap Learning Center, you follow the instructions, and here's the image that you would see. And you would click on that, so you can buy it in the App Store or Google Store. So that's a really exciting development for us. And it just launched on March 1st. So I've gone in and I haven't had any trouble. So if you do have trouble or thoughts on this, I would be interested in feedback on any of this, and then we can move forward with that. So anyway, that's a really exciting new feature. So try it out. Next slide. The additional features that we have are when you do your courses, you will get virtual badges and leaderboards. And that's really exciting. So you can see when you're in My Rotary, which we won't talk about too much tonight, but when you're in your personal page, you can go click on, it would be on the left-hand side, and it would say leaderboard, and it will tell you where you are in your district. So are you in the top 10? Are you in the top 20? And when you take a course, you get a badge. And it's really exciting. It'll tell you where you are in your zone. If you're in the top 10 or top 100, and then it will tell you also where you are in the world of Rotary. So if you're number 35,000 or number 4,000, or you're in the top 10, and it will tell you who is in the top, but not which courses they've taken. You can create links if you want. Oh, can you go back, Jim? You can create links directly to courses and send them to club members or district people. There's lots of resource sharing. You can create discussion groups, and you can, as a district, we can create our own learning plans for clubs or committees or specific topics. So that's a really exciting feature that we can do as a district and send it out to clubs and specific maybe committee chairs or even Rotarians. Next slide. So as you know, COVID has come. We are approaching on March 15th, the 1-year anniversary of being our first lockdown. We've had to reimagine a lot of things. And for us as a service organization, service is one thing we've really had to reimagine. And that's a work in progress, and one I think we've done pretty well at, and it will be something that we continue to be creative and innovative at. So if you went into the Learning Center and you typed in the word service, this is what would come up. Look at all the different service opportunities that we have in this district. So we have club service, international service, the foundation. You'll see on the far right-hand side the grant management seminar. If your club is going to be doing a global grant, that is a mandatory requirement. You'll see that there's 9 courses. It takes 2 hours and 45 minutes, and it's a selection of courses. If you've already done that course, because people were saying, I don't really want to spend 3 hours of my life doing that every year, the foundation has created a grant management recertification, which you can do every year once you've done the original grant seminar. There's lots of the Rotary areas of focus. You could do that. So you'll see we'll pick on the Rotary areas of focus. You'll see that that's an e-learning course and it's 1 hour. So that's how long the course is. You'll see the other ones, 4 courses for the club service projects, 1 hour. Orientation for scholars is 30 minutes. So there's all this information, and then you click on the course and you would be able to take it. Next slide. So here is what we would call service learning for advisors, and this is based on people that are working with young leaders in our district. There are 4 courses. It will take you 1 hour and 15 minutes. Next slide. So here we are. The future of Rotary is with our young leaders. We are often asked when people take on the role of Rotarian advisors, whether it's Interact, Rotaract, or working on the District Youth Committee, what does that mean? How do I support young leaders? So the Rotary International team and the Learning Center came up with this course selection, which really is the premise of what service learning and what our youth programs are. In our district, for over 10 years, we have had service learning and have had great success. Service learning combines community service with learning objectives that empower young people to develop real-world leadership skills. And these courses will introduce you to service learning and teach you as Rotarians how to support these young leaders and empower them to be strong participants. The premise of service learning is that, number one, they're youth-led. With the guidance of an adult advisor, youth are in charge of their service experience. They learn real-world leadership skills as they conduct a community assessment and develop and implement an action plan and assess the implement of their service projects. They hone their skills. Number two, service learning has been proven to help young people develop important life skills like critical thinking, self-management, and leadership. And mostly it provides lasting impact. They can learn how to identify and address genuine community needs, enact real change, and ensure sustainable and lasting impacts. And that's really important in helping them pick projects, whether you're working on the district community service projects, whether you're working on the district youth programs, or in any way working with young leaders. So you will see that the first 2 courses, getting started with service learning for advisors and the supporting participants, is for Rotary advisors. The third one in the purple is for young leaders to take and what service learning means to them. All of them have great downloadable resources you can use. The bottom one, protecting youth program participants, is very important. Everyone who's working with young leaders needs to have a VPRC, as we know, right, Brian? And this course will explain to you Rotary's youth protection policies and the importance of what it means to protect the youth. So once you complete these 4 courses, this is what will come up. It will tell you 100% learning plan progress completed, how long it took, and you can download your certificate. And you will see that on your own page. Next slide. So again, this gives just you a better screen of the courses that you would take. You'll get the little check marks when your course is completed. So I encourage anybody that's interested in working with young leaders, interested in taking on a district role, working with Interact or Rotaract to take these courses, or anybody that's really interested in service learning. It's a really great series of courses. There are courses available specifically for Rotaract, which I haven't listed, but that's another leadership development course that you can explore in the Learning Center. Next slide. So membership. Tyla, that's a big topic and one that's very important for us in Rotary. If you type in membership, this is what's going to come up on your screen. Look at all these really great courses for everybody to take. There's best practices for engaging members, building a diverse club. Diversity, equity, and inclusion are a very big focus of Rotary right now, as well as committing to diversity and how do we build that in our clubs. Those courses are there, and I would encourage every Rotarian to take those. It's very, very important. There's also a course that's not listed here. However, it's called Abuse and Harassment, and that's about creating a safe environment. And I would encourage every Rotarian to take that course. That's very applicable to work environments as well. Mentoring is very important. If you want to work with young people, you want to engage new members, there's a course on that. How do you nurture the new clubs we have in our district? How do you want to start a new club? How do you kickstart your member orientation? All these things are very, very important. Next slide. So here is the membership learning plan. This will be really good for anybody who's taken on the membership chair role in their committee or anybody on the membership committee as well. There are 10 courses. It would take 7 hours. Again, some of the courses overlap in the different learning plans. Once you've taken the course, it transfers over into the different learning plans. Next slide. So here is, again, if you've taken 90% of the courses, you have one, that would probably mean you have one course left, or perhaps part of one course. It will tell you that 2 hours and 18 minutes have been spent out of the 7 hours and 30 minutes, which, you know, may or may not mean that you have taken the time or you have done them all. So the first one I want to talk about that comes up is your club healthy? So we are all working in a time of COVID and things are very different. We're meeting online. We don't have the fellowship opportunity. Service is very different. The face-to-face is not the same. We've had to learn how to fundraise differently. Everything's different. And I think we've all done really, really well. But perhaps now is the time as clubs to look at, is our club healthy? And the answer is probably yes in some areas and maybe not so much in others. And how can we fix that? So this course is really good on that. It provides you great resources. It gives you what they call a Rotary Health Check, which you can do in regard to how to look at different aspects of your club. Then it goes through the following interactive scenarios with different outcomes and how to handle them on the following topics: social and service events, club experience, member experience, whether they're new, prospective, retention, or how to do exit interviews, your public image, which can help you with your website, social media, branding, brochures, logos, all those things, and club operations. It provides really great materials on how to address those issues, how to make sure your club is healthy and strong, how to have conversations with members, and how to solve some of the challenges in your course. You know, we can also check up on our members. If we haven't seen them, we haven't heard from them, you know, really ask them how they think things are going, what they would like to see differently. So this is a time that we all want to care about each other, and I think we're all doing a pretty good job. But I would encourage Rotarians, whether you're on the membership committee or a membership chair, to look at this course and try to implement some of these things in your club. Again, the flexibility innovation is very good. How do you attract new members in the time of COVID? Well, take that course and find out, because there are some ideas, and use it and be very creative. Next slide. Rotary is a very diverse organization. We're not always as inclusive as we could be, but we are working towards that on many aspects. And that includes dealing with people with disabilities. Not everybody learns the same. Not everybody's got the same skill set. And that means that we want to make the learning accessible to everybody. So there have been several accessibility features put into the Learning Center. The courses can be navigated using screen readers. The interface is designed with contrasting colors and clear icons and other visual cues for people who perhaps are colorblind or perhaps have other sight issues. And all of these allow us to be diverse and inclusive and make sure that everybody has a really positive learning environment. There's also audio and subtitles as well. Next. So, you know what's next? We've redesigned the homepage to come up with these topics to make it easier to navigate the system. That was one of the things that people said, that it was somewhat cumbersome. We have the mobile version, and that has been launched, so please check that out. There's always new courses coming. There are updates to courses. And on the district committee roles, we are looking at doing intermediate learning plans for those that already are there. So some people that have taken the basic learning courses in their district roles, there will now be intermediate roles. Again, I encourage each Rotarian, if you are taking on a district role, a leadership role, a club role, or considering it, to take those learning plans. But once you've taken the learning plans, explore the other topics, because we all have different levels of Rotary knowledge and experience. And it's always good to learn about different things that we don't know, whether it's foundation or public image, and how we can be supportive in all that we do. Next slide. This is just another reminder, because I'm really excited about this mobile part. So please check that out. It's really cool. Next slide. Okay, I've done lots of talking. I think that's a lot of information. I hope that's provided you an overview and got you excited about some of the things in the Learning Center. There's certainly a lot more to talk about. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer those now.
Super, thanks a lot, Tamara.
Yep.
So
I think we were also enthused. There's nothing in the chat. Just you know.
Okay, well, I hope that's a good thing.
I think you had our rapt attention.
Mm-hmm. So I was just going to mention that there's been a lot of work done in the Learning Center, and the amount of courses that are available are absolutely amazing. What have you noticed with the Toastmasters Alliance, Tamara?
No, I think it's a really good alliance. It's a new one. There's a lot of interest in it. And I think that, you know, the courses, the Toastmaster courses are excellent, especially if you're looking at doing public speaking or even doing PowerPoint presentations such as this, and how to tell your stories effectively and working with audiences. There are many Rotarians that actually are Toastmasters. They're duo members. And I think there's a really good opportunity to work together even more. It'd be a good membership opportunity. The other thing is, we're all looking for speakers for our clubs, and Toastmasters have a whole host of speakers on a variety of topics that they would love to come and speak to our clubs about. They can offer workshops and peer evaluation. And I think it's a really good networking opportunity. Again, this is a very new alliance. We're working through some you know, the bumps of growing and changing and working together. But I think it could be a really positive one, membership on both sides. Dan Hardy, who is a past Toastmaster International director, couldn't join us tonight because he's at Toastmasters. But he and I are going to work together on presenting workshops on the Learning Center and Toastmasters and these courses. So if you're interested in that, please let us know. We would love to come and speak to you. There is a slide here at the very end that I will put up at the very last with my contact information and Dan's contact information. So he'd be happy to offer speakers and as well as do workshops again on Toastmasters as a whole. But it's amazing how we're very similar in many ways in working in the community and sharing stories and things like that. What is the best way to get members to get into learning other than having Tamara come north? Dennis, don't you want to come visit? You know what, Dennis, really, you know what? I think that certainly we can send out ideas and topics, but I would encourage them to sign into My Rotary and explore the Learning Center. You know, maybe at every meeting, have a 5-minute learning, or, you know, like Ingrid's done her foundation moments for the foundation, have a Learning Center moment. I can do those. Say, you know, if you're interested in public speaking, here's a course. I certainly would be happy to do that weekly for the clubs if we can send it out. Jim, if you're interested in that. I think it's really something you need to get in and explore, because it's really quite intriguing and there's a lot of different things. So if members, you know, your committee chairs, especially now when presidents-elects are picking their boards for next year, encourage them to take those courses as part of their roles, whether they're secretary, treasurer, public image, youth, foundation. There's lots of information there, and especially on the membership side, because that's a really important thing for us. Each of us as Rotarians are responsible for membership in our club, whether it's retaining members, engaging members, keeping our clubs strong and working together, as well as bringing in new members. So that's one way to do it. And just because they're not taking on leadership roles doesn't mean they shouldn't explore the Learning Center and maybe take one course. Some of them are only 15, 20 minutes long, but they're really done very well, very effectively, very engaging, real world examples, and lots of good materials.
In my role, I have been pushing it with the clubs, my 3 clubs, and getting them involved. As a matter of fact, with them not publishing the books anymore, we did have the question, I didn't get my book yet, or are they going to mail them? And I said, it's all in their Learning Center.
It is, and for each of those courses for those roles, the manuals are there in a PDF format. So they have to go into the course, and when they say downloadable resources, that's where they're going to find their manuals.
Yep.
So that's one good way to drive
Tamara, Brian was going to ask, he asked the question that I was wondering about, but he had the nerve to ask it. So he wants to know how, what does it mean to clear your cache or cookies?
Oh, okay. That's a fair question. So, because I had to go figure out what that meant too. So don't worry. I'm a tech dinosaur, and I really struggle with those stuff. So when you're in Google, you go up into, it's at the right-hand corner. I don't know how to do it in Explorer. And then you go up into, you click on the icon, there's an icon, and it will say clear history. And that's what you do, and you clear your browsing history. So it's it's actually clearing your browsing history. So for those of us that don't know, go to your Google site, put clear cache, and Google will come up with the directions on how to do that. And if you're using Microsoft Edge, same thing, clear cache or clear cookies. It's actually quite simple, but it will give you the step-by-step way to do that. And that's probably the easiest way to explain it. And it's really a 3-step process, but that does help. It might help with other sites too. Does that answer the question, Brian? Yeah, so go to Google, type in clear cache, and it'll give you the directions. And you know what, don't worry, I had to do it because I didn't know how to do it. I had to go Google it. Truly, Google provides good directions. There's a couple other I see here. Let's see. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, great.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Rotary Basics is an excellent course. You're right, Rob, that it's a good reminder of why we're all Rotarians, and I would suggest everybody take it. I went through it again this week. I've taken about 70% of the courses. I'm working my way through them, but that's a really good one. So, often we get so entrenched in Rotary that we forget that perhaps there's things we don't know, and it's a good reminder of different things. Tyler's question: if you have a member that has dived in and is taking courses but don't show up on the district report of the members taking part in L&D Center, is that a tech issue? It could be, but Tyler, probably what's happened is they've logged into My Rotary with an email that's different than what they've logged into with Club Runner.
No, I followed up with that to make sure, because that's been the message thing, to make sure they're the same emails. But no, they have the same, they've used the same email, both systems, but are showing up on the list, I noticed.
Okay, I'll ask Kimberly and I'll email you the answer. Okay.
Awesome, thank you.
But I will ask that question for your behalf.
Thank you.
No problem.
There must be some more questions here. Everybody's so polite and Canadian-like.
Don't be polite. Was there anything I offered that confused you? Or that you would like to hear more about?
I think the real complexity of the Learning Center is quite amazing. You know, for people that haven't logged into Rotary.org and
Mhm.
checked it out, it's incredible. It really is.
Yeah, with the new homepage and doing things by topic, it has made it a lot easier to find courses rather than the way they had it before. There's always more ways to make it better. Yes, Brian?
From my perspective, doing all the criminal record checks for the district and for the last number of years, ran across a few people and a few clubs that are, I don't want to say anti-record checks, but are not really in favor of it. Is there one of the courses on here that maybe can explain in depth?
Yeah,
why-
the youth protection policy course goes into why you need to do that.
Does it specifically mention the criminal record check process that we follow?
No, because it's not the same in every country and every district, but it talks about why you need to do it, why the criminal record checks are important, and that it is mandatory for working with young people. I think if we want to do that in our district, we'd have to create our own webinar and our own course. Because we are Canadian, we have 3 provinces and 2 territories, it would be different in the US, and it would be different in Italy, and it would be different in Europe, and it would be different in Brazil. So Rotary can't address that specific process and how each district does it.
Can they not tag in on the Learning Center on that course to say check with your specific?
It does say
districts?
that. It
Okay.
does say that to check with your specific district.
Yeah.
It does say that. Yeah. And I know that 5360 has even different than we do, but it's similar. But it does talk, that youth protection course is something that does talk about the VPRCs. And I know that the VPRCs are required for more than youth protection, but that's where you're going to find why it's necessary.
I have another one, Tamara, with regards to Rotaract, and not all Rotaract clubs subscribe to the club runner, and but if a Rotaractor signs into My Rotary and uses that their email address that they usually use, will that show up on our district club runner so you can monitor?
Yeah, you know, the challenges right now with elevating Rotaract and changing their status, we never used to collect emails and membership from Rotaract. This is sort of this time, this is a shift. So yes, it's coming. Yes, they should be listed. The clubs should be listing their members. It is a work in progress, and it's coming, and it should come through Club Runner and Rotary.org. But because it's such a big shift and coming at us so quickly, it is a work in progress, but you will see it come in the next year.
Because there is a bunch of clubs, because of the cost, that they don't have the Club Runner account.
Yeah, and they won't really need to, I think, if they use Rotary.org, but that's something that we're working through right now in regard to how that's all going to work. I mean, I think that, you know, the whole concept of elevating Rotaract is good, but there are steps from A to B, and we're still in the middle between A and B, but it's coming, and we're all working on that together. So, you know, we are volunteers, and sometimes the best of visions happen, but sometimes the A to B to get us to C are not thought out first, but that's okay, because you know what, the Rotaractors are taking the lead, and they're teaching us some things, and we're all going to get there together.
Is that the same for Interact, Tamara?
Okay, so Interact is very different. You cannot keep information on the Interact members because they are under 18. So you can for the year have their information, but you must not keep it on file. You cannot for FOIP reasons, because they're under 18.
But
So
can they, yeah, I understand that, but they can have a My Rotary account though and do
yeah, they can
courses,
go into My Rotary if they want. Yeah, they can set it up. Yeah, they can go in, just they would be considered a non-Rotarian, so you wouldn't be able to track them.
Oh, okay, yeah, but they can do courses and
yeah, they can go into courses, absolutely. Yeah. Donna?
I just wanted to mention too that when we get the information, sort of tracking the courses and, you know, who's enrolled in what courses. Before that information can come to even the people that Tamara has designated, you have to take a privacy and protection course before you're allowed to actually receive the information.
Yeah, and I mean,
So-
whether they're minors or not, I mean that this information is private. But so yeah, Rob, to answer your question, yes, of course, Interact members can go in and set up a My Rotary account, but they won't be tracked as a member of our district or as an Interact club, because we cannot keep that information because they're minors. And Rotary is very, very strict about that. They're very good with their youth protection policies.
I just launched a question, just an informal poll to see how many people have checked out the Learning Center. And it looks like it's pretty well 50-50, actually. So, yeah.
Well, when you consider right now, I mean, at least at the end of February, the last week of February, we had 348 members out of 1,600. That's not that many.
No.
But there's great potential. And I think that, you know, I think a lot of it is people just don't realize it. I think everybody's got really busy lives. And if a course is going to take 20 minutes out of their day, they would probably be more interested in doing that. And understanding that it's e-learning and they can do it on their own time. So I think that as we move forward, especially with the manuals now being online and they have to do the courses to get them, and to do that, I think that will really help. And I think that, you know, for the Rotaract members, they're quite intrigued with that. And I think with the Interact members, and the more people use it, the more they talk about it, the more valuable the tool becomes. And organically, I think this will really, really grow.
So Tamara, where did you say the where your status is in? Like, I know you're probably on number one in the zone, but
No, I'm number one in the district.
okay.
I'm number 4 in the zone, and I'm number 296 in Rotary.
And where was that you saw that you see that on?
Well, when you go into your own page on My Rotary and My Learning, there will be there'll be a tab that says Leaderboard.
Oh, okay.
Choose district, zone, Rotary. And it'll tell you how many badges you have and things like that. So it's on your personal page. And of course the district can, you know, district members can see that as well. It's kind of fun to see.
Tamara, could you go over again how you get the app? I'm just trying to do it right here while we're talking.
Okay.
On the mobile app.
I know, I got to pull my page up here. So you have to go into the Learning Center. So on My Rotary.
Okay.
But you got to go in on your phone.
Okay.
So you sign into My Rotary,
Okay.
and then you go on your phone.
Okay.
And then
just give me the steps.
And then so you sign into My Rotary, you tap, and then it'll come up, tap Learning and Reference, and then tap Learning Center. And then there'll be instructions. It'll say, yes, please read all the instructions, download the app, and then it'll go from there.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, so but you have to log into the app on your phone. You can't do it on your desktop.
Okay. Got it. Thanks.
Super. Did you want me to share the end screen? The contact information?
Yeah, yeah, you can share it, I'm sure. So certainly, if you ever have any questions, you can email me or call me or text me. Dan Hardy is with the Edmonton South Club. He's your Toastmaster expert. So if you have any questions about Toastmasters, please email him. I am not a Toastmaster subject matter expert. I can guide you on the courses, but if you're looking for speakers, Dan can probably guide you, Toastmaster, to come and speak to your club. Or if you're interested in a workshop on public speaking, he could guide you in that way. And again, we are available to do workshop or, club visits on Toastmasters, the Learning Center, or a combination of the two, depending on what you would like.
And Tamara, I just have to say, as a member of Toastmasters, to contact a local Toastmasters club would be awesome. They'd love to do that.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
sure if you Google Toastmasters, you can come up with a list of clubs, but I know that in my club, both Scott Young and Kathy Strobel and Marilyn Muka are Toastmasters. And they talk about that, and it's they've been very helpful in offering information. Kathy Strobel did do a workshop on public speaking at RILA. We've always brought in the past Toastmasters to do something at RILA and Riley, and it's been a great partnership. And I think in some ways, at least in our district, we've worked together quite a bit for a long time. But it's really nice to have that formal alliance and to be able to create learning opportunities for Rotarians and networking for each other, and perhaps some potential membership growth for sure.
Super. Any more questions for Tamara? No, everybody is.
Tyler,
Well,
I have a question for Tyler. Do you have anything to say about the membership courses and the value of the club health check?
Oh, it's absolutely amazing. That's actually one of the first ones. The health check one is one that when I'm, letting people know like, hey, this is how you get logged in. This is where you want to start. That's one of the first ones that I suggest to them, regardless of their role, because everybody's going to have a different perspective. But whatever their role is within their club, I suggest that, definitely bring on everybody to do this course. It's amazing as to what you can learn from it and broaden your perspective to take that step back and then compare notes as to your thoughts afterwards. It's really good.
Yeah, I think it is too, but it's great to hear from you as our membership chair on the perspective. So Nevis, as AG, do you have anything that you feel that we could do to promote the Learning Center to the clubs and to members?
Well, actually, I'm not AG anymore, but
No, but you were. So, I'm drawing on your vast experience because, you have it.
Experience. I think just really out there sharing it with people, letting them know it's available, maybe to new members, making sure that my personal opinion, I don't think we sit down with our new members enough to really orientate them enough on Rotary.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that, the Rotary, the Rotary Basics course is a good one. That's good for prospective members too. The areas of focus, it's a short course, but it talks more about Rotary. There's a short one on the foundation. So those are all resources for new members and certainly something we can use.
And Tamara, actually, just to add to that, because I know we always have a focus of new members and how we set them up for success, or at least have the intentions of, but we forget that over history, we haven't always had that thought or those intentions in place. So to remember that, regardless of how long someone's been a Rotarian, it doesn't hurt to have a refresher, because we may think it's probably going to be a refresher for them, but it actually most likely is going to be the first time they actually see it.
And that's true. And I know that when I've been going through the courses, I'm like, oh yeah. And there's just so much stuff in Rotary that, you couldn't possibly absorb or, or keep in my brain. So, it is good even for those, member retention and creating enthusiasm to go back and take those courses or retake those courses. And often the courses are updated. So, it's good to look at that too. And the materials are really, really good in all the courses when you download them.